Hello everyone, welcome to EduRev. Today we are going to study the topic caselets. Now caselet questions are the most common question types in your CAT examination. In these questions, a caselet is going to be provided to you and then a set of questions will be asked from you. Now you people need to organize all the important information and data from the caselet and then you need to solve the related questions which will be provided to you. Now these type of questions, that is the caselet questions, are extremely important as they are repeated almost every year without a fail in your CAT examination. And they are also easily solvable. That means you can easily score in these type of questions. And apart from data interpretation, these caselets are also included in your quantitative section. So it's very important for you people to understand that what are caselets and how we can easily solve caselets, and then to practice lots and lots of questions related to the topic so that you are very much confident with the topic. So let's begin. But before doing the question, let's basically see that what are caselets and what are some tips and tricks to solve the caselet questions easily. Alright, so let's see that what exactly are caselets. Now a caselet can be defined as a para that contains what? A data or information. So it will be like a paragraph and in form of sentences, a sort of data or some sort of information will be provided to you people. You people have to extract that information. Now it's not always that this information would be provided in form of tables or graphs or charts and stuff like that. Well, in reality, it's very unlikely that this form of information will be provided in form of your graphs or charts or any form of table. And it will be basically provided in a simple paragraph format. Okay. So you people have to understand the paragraph and then extract that information, and then with the help of that information, you need to solve the questions which would be provided to you. Now, these caselets are included in CAT exam to test what? So, your reading ability, your comprehending ability, and your interpreting abilities. Therefore, just with the help of caselets itself, the examiner is going to test these areas of you. So that's why these things are very, very important to understand and do. And we know that caselets are very easy to solve. So you must practice a lot of them so that you do not miss any marks from this. And also, to do caselets, you need, information related to topics such as profit and loss, percentages and all that. Now, all that information is also very simple, so you do not have to worry about that either. So let's see and begin with the tips to solve caselets questions very easily. So the first tip is that you have to create tables. Now it's very important that you need to understand that what sort of information and data is provided to you within the caselet, and to analyze that what you need to answer, or basically how you have to answer the questions. You need to tabularize your data, or I must say you need to organize your data, and tables are very handy. Next is that you need to read the cases very carefully, because sometimes what happens is that they have asked a different question and you might be interpreting the question or the caselet in a very different way. So it's important that you read the caselet very, very carefully. You also should know that what are the type of units which are given. Like suppose kg is the unit that is provided in the caselet, but in the questions which precede the caselet, your let's say grams is the unit that is used. And if you are not able to, recognize that in your caselet kg is used and in your question gram is used, then you are very likely to make errors, because there is what? A gap in the units which you are using. So the next point is going to be know the basics. So in know the basics, what is there is that data caselet questions require a strong hold of basic mathematics, as I was telling you. So you should know stuff like what percentages, profit and loss, interest, etc. to solve them. Now do not worry if you do not know how to solve questions on percentages, profit and loss, interest, etc. Because EduRev has a lot of documents and videos and even tests related to these topics. So if you are not 100%, or I must say maybe not even 70-30% sure on, let's say, a topic percentages, you can go to the EduRev website and you can actually learn all these things from there. So no problem in that regard as well. But before solving caselets, be sure that you have a fair knowledge and a fair idea of topics like your percentage, your profit and loss, your interest, etc. Next is use approximations and shortcuts. Now this point is very, very important. Why? Suppose in your question or in your calculation, you come up with like, suppose a number 100.5. Okay. So there is this number 100.5 and you need to multiply it by, let's say, 793. Now solving this might be pretty, difficult. I won't say difficult, but time consuming. Yeah, for sure. So what you can do is you can approximate 100.5 to 100 and then you can multiply 793 with it, and then you can take like the approx value of this multiplication and then use it to solve the question. This is going to save your time, and this is like, these are like the shortcuts which everyone uses, and you must also follow the same to save your time. So this was all, but the last point which I want to tell you people before diving into the caselet is that you need to practice a lot of questions, because we all know that practice makes permanent. So you have to practice a lot of caselets so that you have a fair idea of how you need to solve the caselets and what is going to be your method of approach. I can like solve hundreds and thousands of caselets in front of you, but you won't able to grasp anything until and unless you practice, because then only you will be able to understand that how you have to approach a caselet, and you know what is your weak part, what is your strong part, and that is how you will be more comfortable with this topic. So now, as we know that what are caselets and what are the tips to solve caselet questions in CAT, let's solve our first caselet. Let's read this question now. Now it says that in a batch of 60 students, 50% of the students scored more than 80% and 70% scored more than 50% in a test. So basically it's saying what? It's saying that there were like a batch of students and the total number of students in that batch were what? 60. So out of these 60 students, 50% of 60 scored what? They scored more than 80%, whereas 70% of 60 scored what? More than 50% in a test, correct? So I hope you people have understood these statements. Now let's read further. Now there were what? 10% of students who scored less than 15 on a test. That means 10% of 60 scored what? Less than 15 on what? The test, correct? So how many students covered, like scored between 15 to 60 marks if the total marks were 75? So they are saying that the total marks were 75. So we need to see that how many students scored between what? 15 to 60 marks. I hope you have understood this question, and after reading and analyzing the question, you can see the way I have written this. Now it can vary from person to person. You can make a table, you can make a flow chart, or you can simply just do a rough calculation here and there. It's up to you the way you want to present, because nobody is going to see your rough sheet or anything. You just have to be comfortable with it. So now let's start finding the solution for the question. So from this caselet, it's important to extract the necessary data first. So when I say that we need to extract the necessary data, I mean what? I mean that it's not always that whatever data is provided within your caselet, that particular data needs to be utilized in the solution part itself. Sometimes it can happen that there is extra amount of data that is provided in a caselet, and that is just not necessary for you to solve the question. And sometimes it might happen that there is data that is provided in your caselet, and from that particular data you actually have to like maybe extract more data, and then from that data you have to solve and find the answer. So anything is possible in a caselet. You just have to apply your common sense and presence of mind to check that what all things are required to solve a particular question and what all not. So on that note, let's just start solving the caselet itself. All right. So now first of all, we know that the total marks were 75, right? So we know that the total marks that was provided was 75. Now what is going to be 80% of that? What is going to be 80% of that? Because we can see that 50% of 60 people scored more than 80%, where the total marks was what? 75. So that means if the total marks is 75, then we need to find the 80% of that 75, right? So that means it's what? It's basically 80% of 75. And this means what? This means 80 upon 100 into 75, which is nothing but 60. So I hope till here you people have understood this. Now we need to calculate the total number of students who scored less than 60 but more than 15, right? This is the criteria that is given in your question, that you need to find the number of students who scored between the range of what? Between the range of your 15 and 60, correct? Now, for finding this, we basically need to keep one thing in mind, that there is this one sentence that is given in your question, and that sentence basically says what? That 70% score more than 50%. So this sentence particularly, that 70% scored more than 50% in a test. Now you can analyze the way I have written my data and the way I am proceeding with the question, that this line is very much redundant. That means you do not require this data while solving your question. So you can totally ignore it, or you can just put a line on top of it so that your brain remembers that you do not have to see or analyze this data at all. So this is the data that I was talking about. So you are, not required to use this. So I'm just going to scratch it out so that your mind gets signal that we do not have to use this data. Now, first things first, that we need to find the students who scored more than 60. So people who scored more than 60 is going to be what? 50% of 60, right? Because who scored more than 60 means who basically, scored more than 80 are the people who also scored more than 60. So because obviously 80, 60. So if, you are scoring more than 80, automatically you are scoring more than 60 as well. Okay, common sense. So students who scored more than 60 is going to be what? It's going to be 50% of your 60. Okay, so 50% of your 60 is going to be what? 50 by 100 into 60, and this is going to be what? Your 30. Next, we need to analyze the people who scored less than 60. So who scored less than 60 is going to be what? 30. Why? Total students are what? 60. If 50% of them scored more than 60, so obviously 50% will score less than 60. So with that technique, we get 30. Alright. Next, we need to find out the students who scored less than 15. So students who particularly scored less than 15 is going to be what? Now there is this one line that is given in your question, that there were 10% of students who scored less than 15 on a test. This means what? This means that 10% of students, that is 10% of 60, scored less than 15. So this is going to be what? 10% means 10 upon 100 into 60. That is nothing but that is going to be purely 6. So 6 people scored less than 15. So now you can see that the students who scored less than or equal to 60 has to be 30, and the students who secured less than 15 has to be 6. So now the students who secured between what? 15 and 60 can be easily obtained by these two people, that is students who secured less than or equal to 60, that means 30 people, and secondly the students who secured less than 15, that means 6 people. So I just need to divide what? Subtract what? 30 and 6. So when I do that, yes, so when I subtract it, it will be 30 minus 6, which is going to be 24. So finally my answer is going to be what? 24 people, or you can say 24 students who scored between 15 to 60 marks if the total marks were what? 75. I hope you understood this question, but in case you didn't, do not worry. I'll just explain it like one more time so that it's just logged in your minds. All right. So let's read the question again. So the question says that in a batch of 60 students, so basically I told you that total number of students are what? 60. I wrote 60, right? Now 50% of the students scored more than 80%. That means 50% of 60 were scoring what? More than 80%. Next, they are saying that 70% scored more than 50% in a test. So I wrote that also, that 70% of 60 scored more than 50. Then they are saying that 10% of students scored less than 15 on a test, and I wrote that also, that 10% of 60 scored what? Less than 15. So we basically need to find that how many students scored between what? 15 to 60 marks if the total marks were what? 75. So basically what we did, first of all, we calculated that what is going to be 80% of like the total marks Because in the first case itself, that is 50% of the students were scoring greater than 80%. So when I calculated that there are 60, it has to be like a criteria of 60. So how did I calculate it? I calculated it by doing 80% of what the marks, that is the total marks, that is your 80% of 75. Okay, as simple as that. And then we basically calculated what? We calculated the number of students who scored greater than 60. So it was simple. It was what? 50% of 60. So we did 50% of 60 and finally we got the answer 30. Secondly, we wanted to find out the students who scored less than 60. So I'm saying that if 50% of the students are scoring greater than 60, then the other 50% will be scoring either less than 60 or equal to 60. So the total students were 60. So if 50%, that is 30 people, are scoring more than that, then the other 30 will be scoring less than that. So on that basis, I got to know that the students who scored less than or equal to 60 are also what? Those people are also 30. And lastly, to find out the students who secured less than 15, we did what? 10% of 60. So we basically did 10% of 60 and that was basically your 15. And this like 10% of 60 and that came out to be what? 6. Now I wanted to find out the students who scored between what? 15 to 60 marks. So it will be what? Simply 30 minus 6, that is nothing but 24 students. So I hope you people have now understand this case set like pretty well. And on that note, let's move on to another question. So this question states that a total of 1650 students are studying in an engineering college in different departments. So what are the total number of students? Total number of students is 1650 students who are studying where? In an engineering college. Now the ratio of male students to female students in the college is what? 86 is to 79. So this is what? This is the ratio of your male students to female students. Now mind one thing in this question, that this ratio is what? From males to females and not from females to male. Okay. So many people make this mistake. You need to keep in mind that the ratio that is given, it's from the male students to female students. Now the college had a total of how many departments? So there are a total of 5 departments and the name of departments are also given. So the name of departments are mechanical, civil, electrical, biotech and computer science. Okay. So there are 198 total males who are studying in what? In mechanical department. So in mechanical department, the total number of male students is what? 198. That is 198 male students in your mechanical department itself. Now 18% of the students study in civil department, in which male to female ratio of is 5:4. So basically in this statement they are saying that 18% of the students, of what students? Of the total students, that is 18% of 1650 people. So 18% of the total students study where? In your civil department. So they are studying in civil department, and from the amount of students who are studying in your civil department, the ratio of again to your males to female is going to be what? It's going to be 5:4. Correct. So we have understood till here, right? Now in biotech department, there are how many males? 77 male students and they are studying. Okay. And the female students in this department is what? 5/7 of the number of males. That is 5/7 of 77. So this is the amount of female students. If you just calculate it, it will be 5/11. That is 55 female students. Okay. So 77 male are studying in your biotech department, whereas 55 females are studying in what? Your biotech department itself. Now the line says that the total number of male students in civil department is equal to the number of female students in the mechanical department. That means we need to figure out that how many female students are there in the mechanical department, and that number will be equal to what? That number will be equal to the male students in what? Your civil department. Correct. So the number of males in biotech department is half of the number of total male students in the computer science department. Okay. So in this statement, they are what? They are basically comparing the males in your biotech and your computer science. So they are basically saying that the number of males in your biotech department is half of the number of male students in your computer science. That is, suppose if in your computer science there are X number of males, So they are saying that in biotech, the number of male students is going to be what? X by 2. And lastly, they are saying that in your electrical department, the male to female ratio is what? 14 is to 19. So this is what? This is the male is to female ratio again. And in what? In your electrical department. Now there are a few things which you need to keep in mind before we proceed with solving this caselet. First things first, it seems that there is a lot of information, but when you will actually read and understand this, it's very simple. Okay, it's just a few numbers which are given in form of your percentage and in form of your ratio, which in like in your crux is only explaining that what are the total number of students, what are the male students and female students in your each and every department, and there are in total 5 departments, and this is all that is provided within this question. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to go step by step to evaluate the total number, the males and females in your each department, and this is exactly what we need to do to solve the question. So firstly, what we are going to do, we are going to extract the data from this case set, and we need to analyze that what all data is given and what all data we might require to solve the question. So first of all, we need to like analyze this case set, and then we will extract the data which we want, and then we will see that what are the further questions which we need to solve in this case set. So now there are various methods by which you can extract the data in this case set, and that method is, first of all, you can do the calculations and formulate the data in a tabular form as I've explained you, or you can simply use a rough paper and write the data in any form as you want. But because the data is like a lot in this, because we have 5 departments, and in each department we need to figure out that what is the total number of students, what is males and females. So I think a tabular form of data analysis would be very easy. So when we say that we need to do tabular form, this is the way we can do. We can write the category. So it will be like your male students, your female students, and the total number of students. And then it will be the branches that you are having. That is, we have mechanical, we have civil, we have electrical, we have biotech, and lastly we have computer science. And then we can find the total. That is the total of males that are present in all the departments, the total of females that are present in all the departments, and finally the total number of students. Now here you can see the total number of students is 1650. This is written because initially here 1650 total number of students was given. So this sort of information is present within my caselets itself. Now what we need to do is, our next step has to be that we need to link all the information that is provided in my caselet with what? With this data. That is, I need to find out the number of males in your mechanical, then females in mechanical, and total in mechanical. Similarly, in civil as well, I need to find the number of males, females, and total. Then we will find for electrical, that is males, females, and total. And likewise for biotech and computer science, we are going to find the males, then females, and then the total. And then we will do the summation of all these things in the last one to find out the total number of males in all the departments, the total number of females in all the departments, and the total number of people in all the departments. Now it might seem a lot which we need to do, but trust me, it's very, very easy. So let's get started. Alright, so I have just put this caselet here, so that if you want to refer to anything or any sort of information while we are doing the calculations, you can easily read and do it. So let's start. Okay, first of all, we know that what is like the total number of students. So when I say the total number of students, the total number of students was already provided to me, and that was what? 1650. So I would say total students is going to be what? Total students is going to be 165 and 0. As simple as that. Okay. Now male is to female ratio is provided. Okay. So male is to female ratio in what? In your college is provided. Okay. So basically what they are trying to say is that 86 is to 79 is the male to female ratio. This implies that the number of male students and female students will be what? 86 times something plus 79 times something, and that has to be 1650. Okay, so now the point is that if I take x common and I do 86 plus 79, and if I just do this, so we know that 86 plus 79 is nothing, but this is 165. So this is x times 165 equals to 1650. And I hope by seeing this equation, you people know that x will be what? 10. correct? So we found out the X value, that is the 10 value. So the number of male people are going to be 860 and the number of female students are going to be what? 790. As simple as that. I hope this much is clear to you. Okay. So now we know the number of male students and we know the number of female students. Now the number of male students in mechanical is given to what? As 198. So if I write males in mechanical, MECH, so it's given as what? 198. So the number of males in mechanical is 198. And we know that 18% students who study in civil department. Okay. So that means what? That means 18% of the students are in civil department, right? 18% of what? 18% of the total students that are in the college. That is 18% of 1650, and this has to be what? 18% of 1650 needs to be 297. So 297 people are present where? 297 people are present in your civil department. Now, mind it that in your civil department, the ratio of male is to female is also given. That is, the ratio of your male is to female is 5:4. And when I say that the ratio of male is to female is 1:4, and we know the total number of students that is present in your civil department, we can easily find out the number of males and number of females. Okay. So the total number of students in civil department is 297, and in civil department, male is to female ratio is 5:4. So the total males need to be what? Total males need to be 5 into 33, that is 165, and female will be 4 into 33, that is 132. Now I know most of you would be thinking that ye 33 kahan se aaya? Where did this 33 came from? Okay, it's very simple. It's very simple. We know the ratio of 5:4. So we know that there are going to be 5x males and we know there are going to be 4x males, and we know that the total males plus females in civil department is 297. So by using this equation, you can easily find the value of x, and the value of x is going to be 33, and you just have to multiply 33 with 5, that is going to be 165. That is the number of male students in your civil department, and you also have to multiply 4 with 33 to get 132. That is the total amount of female students that is present in your civil department. So I hope that you now understand that how many students are there in your civil department, that is males and females and the total. So let's move forward now. All right. So now it's going to come that the total females in biotech is 77, and total females will be what? 5 by 7 into 77, that is 55. Okay. So this was very simple. When we talked about biotech, we talked that 77 male students are studying in the biotech department, and the females have to be what? 5/7 of the male people, which is what? That is 77 males are present in your biotech. Okay. And females are what? Females are 5/7 of your number of males that is present. That is 5 into 11. That is 55 females. Okay. So 55 female students are present in your biotech, whereas 77 male students are present in what? Your biotech department. Now, as the number of males in the civil department is equal to the number of females in your mechanical department, then the total number of females in the mech department is going to be what? 165. Simple. Okay. I hope it's clear and it's easy. We are just proceeding line by line. The way information is provided, so do not worry if you're not getting anything. Just understand the question line by line. Okay. So I'm just going to repeat the last sentence that I said. So I was telling you that the number of males in civil department is equal to the number of females in your mechanical department as per the question. So the total number of females in your mechanical department needs to be what? Your 165. Now, as the number of your male students in your biotech department is half of the number of your male students in computer science department, so the number of male students in computer science needs to be twice of that, right? Basically what they are saying, like let's suppose this is biotech and this is computer science. Okay, they are saying that if in your biotech you have x number of students, so in your computer science you have to be 2x. Why? Because they are saying that if there is an amount of males that is present in your computer science, then half of that needs to be present in your biotech, and we know the males in your biotech, that is 77. So in your computer science it's going to be what? 77 times 2. So when you do 77 times 2, this is going to be 154. So this is going to be the males present in your computer science. Now in electrical department when we go, so when I move on to the electrical department wali line, so they are saying that male is to female ratio in your electrical department is nothing but 14 is to 19. Okay. So where is the line that is giving me 14 is to 19? This is the line that is giving me 14 is to 19. So they are basically saying that in my electrical department, the male is to female ratio is going to be 14 is to 19. So the total number of males in electrical department will be what? It will be 860 because there are 860 males in total. And when I subtract the males of all other departments, that is all the other, if I talk about, mechanical, your civil, your biotech, your computer science. So if I'm going to like subtract the total number of males that is present in all these 4 departments from the total number of males that is present in your college, I'll get what? I'll get the number of males in your electrical department, and that is exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to subtract 198 plus 165 plus 77 plus 154 from your what? 860, and this is going to be what? 266. So this is going to be your 266. So the total number of females in your electrical will be what? 19 into 19, that is we need to find out the, we basically have to figure out the female ratio. Okay, since it is like 266 14 for what? Male ratio. Alright, so females are going to be what? Females are going to be 361. So it's as simple as that. I'm just going to write this sentence so that you have no confusion. Okay. Alright. So I'll just write this sentence. So they are saying that the total number of females in electrical will be what? 19 into 19, that is your female ratio. That is, since 266 by 14 male ratio equals to what? 90. Great, cool. So the total number of females by this is going to be what? 361. Great, okay. Now the last point is that the number of females in computer science will be what? Now the way we calculated the males in electrical department, we can calculate the number of females in your computer science department. That is that we just need to subtract the total number of females that is present in your mechanical, electrical, civil and biotech from the total females that is present in your college. So when I'm going to do that, it will be what? Okay. So I just have to erase a little bit of this to do a few calculations. Okay. So it's going to be simply 790 minus 165 plus 132 plus 361 plus 361 plus 55, which is equals to 77. So it's going to be 77. Now, as we have extracted all the information that is required by us from this, okay, so we understood that what exactly this caselet told us, and then we got to know that how we can actually proceed and analyze the data and categorize that so that we are, very much understanding the concepts. And then we got to know all the information that we need in this. Now we are going to substitute this information where? In a tabular form. So we are going to substitute all the information in tabular form, and what does this table tells? Alright, so let's just analyze this table and then we are going to solve the questions. So according to this table, in your mechanical department, your males are 198 and your females are 165. So the total students needs to be what? The summation of these two, that is 363. Similarly, in your civil department, your males are 165, females are 132 and the total is 297. In your electrical department, number of males is 266, females is 361 and the total are 627. Similarly, as I move on to biotech, so in your biotech, your males has to be 77, females has to be 55 and the total needs to be 132. And then in your computer science department, you have 154 for males, 77 for females and total is going to be 231. And when we need to do the total of all of this, I just have to add all the males and then add all the females. So I'll get the total males which are in your college, the total female people who are in college, and then when I'm going to do the summation of these two, that is when I'm going to add this and this, I'll simply get the total number of people, that is 1650, as simple as that. So this is exactly what we have done. We have extracted the information, we have understood, and we have analyzed that what all data is provided to us, and with the help of that data we have extracted the data that we required. Alright, so now let's see how to solve this question. So this question says that the number of male students in the electrical department is how much more than the female students in the mechanical department. Alright, so let's figure this out. We know that the number of males in your electrical department will be what? 266. You can see this. So it's what? 266, right? When we move forward and we see the females in your mechanical, right? So females in your mechanical will be 165. So you can see the females in your mechanical. So where is mechanical? Mechanical is there. So females is 165, and computer science, sorry, electrical. So electrical is here and the number of males is what? 266. So we just wrote that. So the number of males in the electrical department will be what? 266 minus 165, that is 101 more than the females of mechanical department. Great. Correct? So I hope you understood how to solve this question. Easy, right? So what we did nothing. We just, analyzed the caselet, and then from the data that was provided within the caselet, we extracted the data which we wanted, and with the help of that, this question became so simple. That is, I have written this, so it's taking so much time, but in your exam, you can do this like in your mind itself. So this is how you basically have to proceed with the caselets. But before going, let's do one more question. So this question asks that the female students in the electrical department are what percent of the total number of females in the college approximately. Now the total number of females, when I talk in electrical, that is females in your electrical. So females in your electrical department needs to be 361, okay, and females total needs to be what? So how many females are there? Let's see. Females in your electrical department is 361 and total females is what? 790. So total females is what? 790. So how much percent? That is 361 females of electrical department over total females into 100, because we need to find the percent. So this will be 45.7%. So the females in your electrical department are 45.7% of the total females that are present in your college. I hope you people have understood this, and I hope you people have understood that what basically are caselets and everything in and around them. So you can practice some questions before, like, analyzing that whether you have understood it completely or not. I hope that you have. So you can, till the next lecture, you can go to EduRev and attempt the test to understand this chapter in depth. You can unlock all the logged videos, documents and tests for CAT with EduRev Infinity Plan and ace your exams at less than 80 rupees per month. Thank you.